What's up, guys? It's Zehailah. I'm over here at DOD. Go check out the new episode 12.
This is what it feel like. He left me with the pieces that I don't like. Never sober, trying to get over my life. Drama over bitches out of my mind. He said he wanna treat me.
We're rolling.
All right, welcome back to Pink World, everybody. We are on episode 12 today, so it's going to be a little bit of a different episode because my co-host Maddie is in Atlanta right now, so she couldn't make it. Very sad about that. But fortunately, we have a guest today. Welcome, Zehailah.
What's up?
Thank you for coming. I'm so excited to do this podcast. Don't mind the noise. It's so weird through the headphones.
Yo,
like,
I know. We hear everything
it.
that they don't hear.
Literally.
Like, I'm scared to keep hitting the table.
They won't hear it, but we will.
We will.
So it's
yeah.
okay. All right, let's get right into it. So what do you yourself encompass as like an artist? So I know you're an artist in a lot of ways. You kind of want to talk about like what you do.
So, like, my overall?
Yeah, like I know you do a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
So let's get into it.
Okay. Well, let's start from the beginning. I started off as a writer. So I was really into writing growing up. And drawing, painting, clothing design. I got into photography, videography, editing. I'm pretty much a one-man team. Like, I don't really know what I don't do. I made beats for myself. I don't know anything that I don't do.
That's dope as fuck.
Yeah, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, okay. So when did you kind of start getting into like the creative mode? Like,
I was just one of them little kids that just had like, I don't know, this crazy imagination, and I just had my own little world for a long time, and I don't think the little world ever went away. Like, you know,
yes,
people like talk about like letting their
do.
little like inner child die. I think I just never let the inner child die. So ever since I was young, I don't know. Once I figured out I could make things, like I was just like, oh yeah, no one could do this because I could do this. Like, I don't know, it's just where I found my ego at as a kid. So
That's good shit.
yeah.
Did you make like music videos type shit?
Yes. Oh my God.
That's what I used to do too.
Yo, when the iPad first came out.
Yup. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I thought I was Drake.
Yup.
Like the GarageBand came out. I was making these awful beats on GarageBand and recording my voice over it. And
Dude,
then
the songs I would make, I showed one of them like this cover that I found like recently. It was so bad. But it was so funny. I like put auto-tune on it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I made a little music video.
yeah.
I'm like, how the fuck was I doing this shit like back then?
you export it, take it to iMovie.
Yup.
And you're shooting on that terrible camera that was on the original iPad. Yeah, I used to do that.
OG.
Yeah.
Love that though. I feel like that for like our generation is like kind of a big tell of like you're gonna be a creative
Yeah,
when you're
because
older.
we had all the media at our fingertips, like shit that other generations didn't have access to, I feel like.
Yeah, and like that's when our brains were developing and like we kind of
Just
got thrown.
adapted.
Yeah, because that shit came out at that point
Like
when we're like, whoa, like what the fuck is life? Like let's do this, this, and this. So that's
Mad cool,
interesting.
like you feel mad special.
Yeah, dead ass. So like where did you grow up around? Like do you think that had any influence on like you starting to make stuff? Do you think the people around you had any influence?
My upbringing is a little unique. I grew up in East Providence, which is more of like the suburban part of Providence, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like I wasn't really in the city like that, and like I'm full blood Cape Verdean, so my parents are really like strict because they're from the islands, you know. I had old school parents, so it's like I wasn't really outside like that. I was really just by myself a lot. So I think I just influenced myself because I was just bored. Like since I was young, I was just always making things because like I had nothing else to do. Like, I couldn't go on play dates like everybody else. Like, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't do the sleepover thing. Like,
Yeah, that's foreign parents.
Yeah.
I always hear about it.
so I was always just in my room. I couldn't watch TV. I couldn't listen to certain music. You know what I'm saying? So I was just always just me in my own head. And I was just making things just to make shit.
Do you think that affects you now, like in your art? Like, do you find yourself more introverted or?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. I completely suck at like social things. Like I'm trying to get better. I think when I went to college it helped, but before college, like I feel like I was really reserved. I didn't really like people. My circle's always been small. Like I've always kept it to a couple girls. That's it. Like, yeah, it definitely made me introverted.
That's interesting. So you say you kind of like started doing all this creative stuff when you were younger. When did you kind of decide that like you wanted to make music itself a career?
There's never really like a defining moment. So I don't know. I just did it one day and I didn't ever want to do anything else after. It's a funny story. So my parents, we have a two family. My father's a landlord, so we lived upstairs and we rented it downstairs. And for a while, my best friend, like since we were 3 years old, she lived downstairs with her parents. Okay. So I lived in a house with my best friend. Like that's all I had. Like that was just her, me, and her. Yeah. And like you know them radio advertisements that would come out at a certain time of year where it's like Disney trying to recruit people. Yes. And everybody was like, oh my God, I'm going to be a Disney star.
I remember that.
So my best friend's annoying. So she was definitely harassing her mom on some, I want to do. And I think her mom kind of just agreed just to get her to shut up. So she came running up the stairs one day into my room. My mom said that, oh, we can audition to be on Disney and da-da-da. And we're like 7 years old. She's like 6, I'm like 7. I'm like, okay, so like what do we do? Like how do we do this? Like she's like, I don't know, I think we just go and we do whatever we want. I was like, okay, so what do you want to do? And she's like, let's write a song. I'm like, all right, let's write a song. So we wrote our first song together, and then after that day, I just kept writing songs. I was already writing previous to that, just like journal entries and little poetry things. Like once I learned to write, I was just always writing. Yeah, I feel so then when I realized I could make music, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. And I thought it was nice. I thought it was like God.
I feel that, honestly. Yeah. I remember entering, I'm not like a singer or anything, but I loved that shit when I was younger. So I entered like competitions. Would be like, you like submit a video of you singing to this and that, and I just, it comes back to me. I'm like, what the fuck, like, but that's crazy.
I participated in probably every single talent show I got my hands on.
Really? Yeah, that's dope. Yeah. So was that like, how do you feel like that was for you? Because you said you were kind of introverted. Did you ever have like any like type of social anxiety about that, or was that kind of like your element?
I'm like really weird. So it's like when I'm on stage, I don't really get nervous. Like for things like that. It's when it comes to like actually trying to have like conversations with people in a room, then I'm like, I don't speak unless I'm spoken to kind of person. Like if I'm not in my own space, if I'm in someone else's space, like I'm very like, it's hard for me to
that like, that makes sense though, I feel like, in like a certain sense.
Once I start getting spoken to, then I'll come out more, but like, I don't know, for some reason, I never got nervous being on stage, which is really weird. I don't know why that is.
That's good shit. Yeah. Because I feel like I'm extroverted, but like, if I were to go on stage, I would freeze up. Like, I would not be able to, I
feel like you get that little rush, like, right before it happens, but then once you're on it, like, kind of just, you just take a new form, like, you're a different person when you're on stage.
That's dope, though. Yeah. That's definitely dope. What was your first time, like, going to the studio, like?
Okay. What came first? Okay, I think it was going into my freshman year of high school. I have an aunt that I'm really close with. I've always been close with growing up. She's probably been like the one person in my family that's really supported it from the beginning. Like I don't even remember how I told her I wanted to do music, but she had people's growing up, like back in the day, like her ex-boyfriend was like a DJ. So she was like tapped into people like in the city that own studios and stuff. Yeah. So she took me to my first session at the Boiler Room. Everybody in Providence should be like familiar with the Boiler Room and who Merc is. That was my first session. I came and I did like some cover to a song with my guitar just so I could like see what it's like. I think I did 2 sessions with him in like that year. But that was then, after that, I didn't really record for years after that. But it was like my first time in the studio just to get like my feet wet.
How old were you?
It was I must have been like 14 or 15.
Okay, so into high younger. School.
Yeah, I was little.
That's dope.
Yeah. But like, my parents don't really know. Like they didn't. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really want me doing this. So it was like I was always trying to hide it from them. Yeah. So
how do they feel about it now?
They don't even know like what's happening. They know about like the business end of things because I have a store and I have a business, which we'll get into. But like they don't really know how big the music's in. They know I'm doing things because I'm traveling all the time. But like they don't really know what's going on for real.
Interesting.
I'm not ready to tell them yet.
How do you think it will be when you do feel ready to tell them?
I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea. I think I don't know. Everyone's telling me, oh, they might get mad. And it was like, oh, they'll come around. But like, time will tell. I don't really know.
That's facts. Yeah. So let's talk about now. So you are at a studio now? Or you work with a studio now?
I never really went to studios like that. The one studio I went, one of my best friends and like the person who kind of like helped me get to where I'm at now was my producer JD. Shout out on JD We Trust. And he had his studio like when I first met him, but then he ended up giving that studio away and he moved to LA. So like what I do, like my process, I record myself, and then when we link up, we record all of my reference tracks all in one shot. Okay. So like we was dead ass. I was recording in closets. I was recording in bedrooms. I was like after we got rid of that studio, I never really recorded in studios like that. It was always like in a crib, and we just brought our setup around.
Okay, that's cool. So you still kind of on that same type of time now?
Yeah, I like it. I don't know if I'm just more comfortable that way. Like, I don't mind recording in studios. I've done it. Like, I've been to studios. Like, we'll go. But most of the time, I think the best shit I've ever made is in the crib. Recording in the closet, recording in the bedroom, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. What's your favorite single that you've dropped?
I'm going to have to say Welcome to the Party.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that too. Is that your biggest one?
Yeah.
Dope.
That's
yeah,
the one
it's
song
fire.
that really went, yeah.
How was that? What was that like recording that?
I recorded the hook at my house. And, like, I just, like, the flow was just different than anything I had already done. And I'm someone where it's, like, I don't want to force nothing, like, forcing myself to make anything. So I had made the hook, and I couldn't come up with anything after, so I just deaded it. I'm like, yo, I'm going to take this to the studio and finish it there. So we went to my boy's crib. And so, yeah, that's the other thing, too. Like, all of our peoples, they have studios in their houses. So it's like, yeah, we take it there sometimes. So I went to my boy's studio, and I was like, yo, I want to try this hook. So I redid the hook with my engineer, and then I just kind of freestyled the verse. And it just, I don't know, it just flowed. It just happened. Yeah. It's one of those songs that kind of just came off and you record in 20 minutes and it ends up being one of your best songs.
A lot of the time that happens, I feel like I've been learning as I've been more like in the studio. That's interesting though. You have a bunch of music videos out too, I've seen. What was it like filming those? Do you have a specific videographer, a favorite one?
I have 2 videographers. Shout out to Martin Cruz and shout out to Alex. They both like help me a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm like really hands-on, I'm really picky. Like I come to my videographers with like my treatment already in mind. Like I already know what I want the video to look like. Oftentimes like I'll sit down with them or I'm the one editing, you know what I'm saying? Or like, yo, do this, do that, do that. And you know, it's hard because I feel like being an independent artist and doing most of the shit on my own, I'm the one behind the camera. I'm like directing it. I have a skit I want to look this way. And it's like, I'm not at a point where I'm really getting my vision completely there yet because of just the lack of resources. But it's like, it's a work in progress. I enjoy making music videos, though. That's like my favorite part of the whole process.
Yeah, that seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It must be nice, though, too, because you're independent. Like, you can have that creative vision. And, like, you're still able to, like, put most of it, like, kind of how you want to or, like, envision it. So that's dope. TikTok. Blown up on TikTok. Low-key.
Like,
yeah. What's that like? That must be weird.
It was. And, you know, it's so crazy because recently there's been this really weird thing because, like, yo, I really pay attention to social media because, like, that's what you got to do to get anywhere, you know what I'm saying? And there's this really weird period of time right now where they're changing their algorithms every other week. So you might find something that hits one month and the next month it's not hitting anymore. Yeah. So I was, like, slowly scaling on TikTok and then it would drop again. You scale on TikTok, you gotta find something else, and then you drop again. So recently, I started noticing that the only thing that was on my For You page is original content. It's podcast clips, skits, pranks. You're not seeing the sounds trending anymore. So I was like, yo, let's try to make a skit. So we made a skit, and simultaneously at the same time that I had dropped the snippet to the song that I'm gonna drop soon, and it just went. Like I hit 1 million 2 times.
That's crazy.
One's at 2 million, the other's at 1 million. And then I was like, my hashtag, like the Zehailah hashtag was like trending for a little bit. I was like over 4 million views. Wow. Because at the same time, everybody was also doing the challenge.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've seen the challenge before.
Everybody was like hashtagging my name. So all of a sudden, I just went up like literally mad followers. And it's still going. It's been like 2 weeks now. So
that's crazy.
I guess skits are the way to go.
I guess so.
Yeah.
That is the weirdest thing about TikTok. I don't know what to think about TikTok half the time because, like, it's just so...
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, and, like, kind of all the trends come from TikTok and whatever is going on with the algorithm.
You genuinely have to sit there and, like, for an hour a day and just look at what's trending and what's going. Like, it's time-consuming, but once you find what hits, you just got to keep pushing what hits.
Yeah.
So...
it's interesting, too. I feel like TikTok kind of popped off, like, COVID era. Like, that's when everybody really started getting into it. So... what was it kind of like being an artist and doing everything in the COVID era? Did it affect your workflow? Did it affect other things in your life? I mean, it obviously did for everybody, but, like, as an artist and a creative, what was it like?
When COVID hit, that's when I dropped my first song. So, yeah, I wasn't really even doing anything before COVID for me to really make that comparison. Like, I was making merch and I was painting and I was doing those things, but... as far as music, I dropped my first song in the middle of the pandemic. I got my own at-home setup in the middle of the pandemic because we were home. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. Like, even shooting that first music video, like, my parents didn't even want me outside the crib because, like, they don't want to get sick. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be responsible at the end of the day. Like, I went to the studio with just me and my producer. Like, all right, we're just gonna shoot this in the studio building because like that's the only option we had. Everything was closed. We couldn't go nowhere. Like, we did that all in one day. So it was a blessing and a curse. I feel like blessing because everybody was on social media and paying attention, and I think I never really told people about music until I just dropped randomly. So like it kind of like surprised everybody, and everybody was online at the time. So I mean, it didn't really affect my workflow. It kind of helped me ease my way into what I'm doing now. Like, everything was slow, and now everything's picking up, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I feel like that's the thing about it, too, is because, like, a lot of people, I guess in more traditional job settings, they would be more affected negatively kind of by COVID. But I feel like I've seen from a lot of creative people that they started some shit up, or that's when they really, like, got their, like, dipped their feet in the water, like, to get their shit going. So that's interesting to hear about. How did you find your sound?
I don't really, like, I feel like I still haven't even found my sound yet. And it's something that me and my engineer/producer, we talk about all the time. He's like, yo, you need to find a lane, because one day I'm going in, I'm rapping. The next day is R&B. The next day it's, like, more alternative music. Then I'm on a Jersey beat song, and it's, like, I literally have 4 or 5 different sounds right now, and it kind of gets annoying because, like, I'll drop one, oh, you sound like Koi. I'll drop another one, oh, you sound like Juice WRLD. I'll drop another one, oh, you sound like Tory Lanez. Like, and I'm just constantly getting compared to so many, like, different artists. So it's like I have like 4 sounds, and I don't really know. But if you want to talk about the process of that, it was really just me recording myself in my room. Because when you're by yourself, you're more comfortable to try things. So I just started fucking around and doing mad random shit, and just found a couple that worked.
That makes sense, too. And, like, also when people kind of compare you to other artists, I feel like it might be, like, weird at the same time, but obviously, like, when you listen to music and then you make music, I feel like you're subconsciously taking some type of influence. Yeah. So that's also interesting when people have, like, a very specified sound. Like, I feel like most people are kind of, like, more like you, like, kind of don't know, like, doing all different shit. Because that's kind of how people are. Like, it's, like, versatile. Like, you can kind of do
That's how you get longevity, too, in the industry. Because if you stick to that one sound, there's a lot of artists right now that have that one sound, and they weren't able to break out of that. And, like, your sound dies, and it's not what's in no more. Like, if you can't adapt to what's trending, then it's, like, what are you going to do?
And that's definitely how it just is, like, in this society right now.
Yeah.
So who are some of your musical inspirations, or any inspirations, really?
I mentioned this a lot, but my biggest one's probably Tory Lanez. That's my favorite artist of all time. Like, hands down. Other influences would probably be, like, Juice WRLD. I can't think of anyone else at the top of my head. But definitely Tory, that's, like, one of my biggest. Tory and Juice. Yeah.
Those are solid. Yeah. Definitely solid. Kind of going away from the music, let's talk about fashion. How did you get into fashion? Is it kind of, like, the same creative
It was,
place?
like, it was honestly, you know what's so crazy? And I'm about to sound, like, real fucked up for this. I did that out of spite for my dad. Because, like, you know, growing up, especially in, like, a classic, like, old school, like, you got to go to college and you got to be a doctor. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's expected of you. So when I go to my family and tell them I want to do business, I want to go to school, and I want to be an artist, it's like, oh, you want to be broke, basically, is what you're saying. Like, you know? So it's like, in the beginning, obviously music was always, like, what I wanted to do, but I understood that I had to do other things to make that work. Yeah. So that's where the art kind of came in, and I started selling paintings, and I just wanted to find a way to make money off the artwork to help fund the music, and that's what that became.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a big thing, honestly. A lot of people who get into music and stuff, they don't really think about that or know about that, because when it comes to, say you need to make money real quick and you're an aspiring artist, the biggest thing you can do, honestly, as a YouTuber, as an artist,
anything. Merch.
Yeah, merch. Yeah. It's like merch is where you're going to make most of your money, and then that's also going to put your brand out here for people to look into other stuff that you're doing.
Yes. So I remember, like, it was, like, Christmas, and my dad asked what I wanted. Yeah. I think I asked for, like, the Cricut, so I could cut out my vinyl and everything, and then I went and I bought a heat press, and, like, I set up literally a sweatshop in my parents' basement. Like, I had my painting stuff on one side, I had my merch stuff on one side, I had the studio set up down there, so it was, like, all throughout COVID, I'd wake up in the morning, and I'm in the basement till, like, 4 o'clock in the morning, go back to sleep, wake up, go downstairs, work all day, go back. You know what I'm saying? It was just like this every single day in this basement, and I had dropped my first little mini collection, and then one of my best friends, Corey, shout out Bolo 22, tattoo artist, go follow him. Yeah. I got you. He had his own shit going on since he was, like, 16, so when I started making things, he was like, yo, I have mad merch just sitting around, like, just put it on your website and, like, you can keep the money. I'm like, I'm not going to keep your money, bro. Like, I'm going to give you half at least, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, send me your logo real quick. So I sent him my logo, and he started making all these drawings with my logo. And he was like, yo, why don't we just collaborate and, like, make our own brand? So that's how Cillians came around. And we just, the whole pandemic, we was just working on this collection. It came out to, like, at least 200 pieces, I think, in total. And
that's a lot.
Yeah. And then we dropped, and we sold out in 7 minutes.
Wow.
We had one item sell out in, like, under 2.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, for your first drop, that's wild.
So after that, it got bigger than us really fast, and it was really hard to manage because we were kids. Like, I was 18.
Yeah, and you were just doing that, like, you started out of the basement, as you're saying, so that's crazy. So that's Cillians. That's your collab brand. And then your other one is Sad Kids.
Yeah.
So how'd that come to be? Same?
Well, it was just around, like, the first thing that I had dropped before we collaborated. I made a hoodie with, like, my Bear logo. It's not on this, but the X's are on it. I had my Bear logo on the front, and then in the back, because I thought it looked cool, I put the word sad girl in Chinese, and then I gave a definition, like, on the back, like, whatever. And I thought it was so cool. And so I kind of just brought that back, but I wanted to make it unisex, so it's like it don't only appeal to girls, like sad girl, like, all right, cool, but, like, so I made it Sad Kids, so that way, like, it can unify everybody, you know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
But yeah, it kind of just, like, started out as a joke, low key, like, sad girl, like, my friends would make fun of me because I was, like, the sad one in the group, so it was like, yeah, that's how that got.
I like that, though. I like that. Like, that's true to you.
Yeah.
But, like,
it speaks to the brand and everything that I do. Like,
yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I'm saying? I think even with Cillians and Sad Kids, we are very much on the darker side of, like, things. Like, we have these characters that look all colorful and everything, but all of them are, like, broken hearts, X's in the eyes, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's like these playful little characters, but at the same time, they're just very dark. Like,
I love that. That's, like, my favorite type of art, honestly.
Yeah.
So if you had to, like, wear a certain style of clothing or, like, a certain outfit all the time that you feel embodies you,
Y2K.
Y2K?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I wish I could, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to find stuff like that, though.
I know.
And that's really part of why I want to start Sad Kids, too, because I want to make Y2K fashion eventually. Because you can't find it anywhere, especially, I don't know, maybe in other states, but, like, where we're from, like, Rhode Island and Mass, like, they don't got it nowhere.
They don't, and, like, you're not going to see people.
You got to get on Alibaba and order something from Japan to get, you know, some type of cargos or something, like the low-cut denim. Like, you don't find it out here, so.
Yeah. I love Y2K, too. That's dope. Yeah. You want to make anything kind of, well, you just said that kind of, like, you want to do more, like, Y2K stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's think.
What it's like managing a store.
Oh, yeah, store. How did I not think about this store? What the fuck?
The store, work in progress, because, like I said, when we started the brand, it got bigger than us really quick. Like, we were just 18-year-olds in the basement making clothes. And then around when COVID happened, so like I said, my best friend's a tattoo artist, so his tattoo shop closed. And he had to find somewhere to tattoo because you can't tattoo out of a crib. Like, that's just sanitary-wise. Like, you shouldn't tattoo out of a crib anyway. So it was just like, I have these really weird coincidences that happen in my life that really freak me out. So I had dropped my first song, and we had dropped the collection. And then randomly, I had this producer hit me, one of the first producers that ever hit me up trying to work with me, Tiz, Beats by Master Plan. He was like, yo, I got this studio, but we also have this storefront, and I have nothing to do with this storefront. Like, you guys want to, like, you want the storefront because I see you got a brand and everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we ended up going through, and we seen it. So we're like, all right, here's what it is. I'll come and do this storefront for you, but as long as he has somewhere to tattoo. So we ended up, like, building a little tattoo room for him in the storefront, and we were building the storefront. And, that's how that happened. And we got all separated. Like, there was just disagreements with other people that weren't involved. So we had already had everything we needed for a store. So it was like, okay, now we got to go find our own thing. So then we ended up moving to another unit. And it was just like we had the studio, we had the tattoo shop, and then we had the store. But the location that we were in, it was in, like, we were hidden in like this cut because it was kind of like a mall setup, but where the store was, you really couldn't see unless you knew it was there, like from our social media presence. So we struggled with like that store for a long time because unless you knew about us, you didn't know we were down there.
Yeah.
So we were there for about a year, and I was literally there every single day at the same time, open all my hours. I would paint. I would just work on like music stuff, and it was honestly like it was a struggle for that period of time. It really was.
Yeah.
And then we just recently moved to our newer location. We're not officially open yet. But it's like, if you need a fit, you want to come through that. Like, I'm usually there. People come, like, and buy what they need. So
you feel like it's going to be a better location?
Oh, it's a way better location. We have storefront windows now. Like, we're on the main road. So it's definitely way better. But, yeah, managing is hard. It's hard because, like, that's why I'm trying to build a team right now because I'm managing a store. I'm doing everything I need to do for my music. And it's just, like, too many jobs at once. And I really want to, like, teach everybody how to do different things because I'm the one going to make the merch, and then I have the inventory, and then I'm watching the website, and I'm watching the in-store inventory. At the same time, I got a video shoot this day and a photo shoot that day, and then we got to plan the rollout for this, and it's just this constant rotation of shit that I got to do. I'm editing vlogs, and it's a lot. So
that's definitely a lot. You definitely need a team.
So yeah, if you want to know how it's like to manage a store, that's what it's like to manage a store right now. It's just a shit show every week.
Good for you though, bro. Like, not many people can do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's good shit.
It's hard.
I can only imagine. Do you have you have a storefront? Are you gonna put like a little logo?
We have logos on our windows. We have decals. We have a sign. We have If you drive by, you see that you know it's us.
That's dope.
Yeah.
How important do you think like visuals and like visuals being good are to any kind of music brand?
The main thing. Like, yeah, cool. You can appeal to somebody with how you sound, but what's really gonna grab somebody's attention is what something looks like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
100%.
that just adds value to what you do.
100%.
Yeah.
How do you feel being a woman in the industry?
That's an interesting question because I feel like I learned really young what it is. Like first couple, you know what I'm saying? Even in like high school, like one of the first people who recorded me, like someone else like that I would go to in high school, was just like, oh, I got this blunt for you. I got this bottle for you. We never get work done. I learned real quick. Yeah. I learned real quick what it is. And it's like, I think now within the past year, I'm just finally entering a space where it's like, I could put my foot down. If you're not here for business, I don't got time for you. Like, there's no time for me. Like, I don't entertain. Like, I can't, you know?
No.
There's way too much going on. I manage too much for like, you know, people try to get one on you because as a female, you know what it is in the industry.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, and I think I got a solid, like, group of people around me where as far as, like, men who respect me, especially. So it's like if I ever have a problem, I got them. You know what I'm saying? And as long as I have them, like, you know, that's that extra source of protection. So it's like.
That's very important. Like, I don't know. It's definitely hard to be a female in the industry, but you definitely have to, like.
There's different pressures, too.
Yeah.
You got to be perfect all the time. Perfect all the time because they're going to constantly compare you to everybody else, everything else. Like, and it just sucks. So I feel like the industry, as far as women, the narrative has been stolen from us for a long time where you could only be this one thing and you box into that one thing. Yeah. Because you have to look this way. You have to have this surgery. You have to, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want to, like, be too susceptible to that.
Yeah. It's definitely hard, but it's very crucial. You feel like people don't take you seriously or didn't take you seriously for a while?
When I was younger, absolutely. Yeah. I feel like I wasn't taken seriously. I feel like I tell people, oh, I do music. Oh, that's cool. Even now, I feel like people see what's up, but it's like I feel like you don't get as much as the credit you deserve versus if I was a guy. Yeah. But not for nothing. I do have supporters. I do have people who look up into me and stuff like that. Like, and I'm so grateful for that. But you do have to fight harder as a female, I feel like. For a long time, even the people that were in my circle that I was doing things with, you know what I'm saying? Even then, like, I feel like I wasn't respected for a long time. And I feel like I just recently gained my respect because, like, I'm doing things now that they know about and only they know about. And it's like, what can you say to me now? Because I'm actually, like, you know, I'm out here. So,
do you find it harder to, like, branch out and advertise because of that? Or are you finding it kind of getting easier?
I feel like advertising for a female can be easier in the sense of, like, everybody's trying to get next to you. Yeah. But it's not always for the right reasons. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I feel like branding as a female can be easier, but the support and the respect is harder to gain.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Thoughts on like the newer female artists that we have out, like kind of like Glorilla, Coil Ray, Bia, people like that.
I fuck with Glorilla. I really
fuck with
do.
Glorilla,
Simply
too.
because, I don't know. I'm all for female empowerment and like women taking like roles in industry and stuff like that. But I really fuck with female artists that sound like guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like.
Young M.A. is a good one for
Exactly.
me. Yeah.
I loved Young M.A. in high school so much.
Me too.
I just feel like I said, women get boxed into like having to sound a certain way, look a certain way, and everything. So when you start, like I feel like the female industry when it comes to music is very underdeveloped right now. It's developing. It's clearly happening. You can see it. Everyone's coming up now. But you know what I'm saying? There's still not girls that sound like Juice WRLD. We want a girl that maybe sound like Dirt. You want a girl that kind of sound like Baby. Like, and they're starting to happen. They're starting to come. Like, you know, maybe a girl that sound like her, but like, you know, not copying their flows, but like that sound like that. You know what I'm saying? Because for a long time, I feel like there was just like this set of like sounds that females had, and that was it. You know?
I completely agree, because that's like, if I'm listening, so like say I'm listening to G Herbo, Dirk, all that, like that is the sound that I'm looking for. And like it was just a lot of the same stuff, so I do really like the branching out as well. That shit's dope.
Women are finding their voices in the industry.
Yeah,
finally,
because you just got to be you, like you really do, like in any circumstance. And I feel like that's just another thing that sometimes happens, is people are in things for the wrong reasons.
Absolutely.
So they kind of are not being themselves and like doing things so they'll be popping. But like,
I feel like that's why the industry's kind of played out right now.
Yeah.
You got a lot of artists that are rising real quick for the wrong reasons, and no one's really in artist development. No one's really caring about the art that goes behind the stuff, and they in it because, oh, I'm gonna make money off this, or I'm gonna have status, and to feed their ego or whatever. Like, I feel like real artists is a really dying breed right now.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but I mean, hopefully that will change soon.
Yeah.
I see it changing soon.
It will. It's just weird how it goes. Like, kind of, and I was going to ask you, like, how do you feel about how fast the music industry moves?
I don't, it's like a fast, the same way fast fashion kind of took over what fashion is. It's the same thing that's happening with the music industry, and eventually it's going to burn out. Like, you already see it. Like, first week album sales are the lowest they've ever been in years, like, for hip-hop. And if people don't start changing that, I feel like hip-hop is no longer going to be, like, that leading genre anymore. Because, like, look at Taylor Swift. She just outsold Drake. Like,
that shit was crazy.
And everybody that's been doing hip-hop this year. And, like, kudos to her. Like, she's not, you know what I'm saying? She's Taylor Swift, and she has a loyal fan base.
She's doing her
like,
thing.
Yeah. I feel like that's why a lot of people are trying to, like, adapt to, like, the house music now. Like, Beyonce did it. Drake did it. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to switch up. Because I feel like hip-hop is dying, as sad as it is to say it. Because it's every week someone's dropping a song. And it's like, you can't really keep up with it anymore. Like, you can't really filter out what's good and what's not good anymore. It's hard. So.
Yeah, and because then it just makes the genre, like, fucking whatever.
Yeah,
I feel like
it's very watered down right now, and it sucks. I feel like no one's really taking time with their rollouts. No one's really taking time with the craft.
No.
I can't say no one.
I was going to say, I think Her Loss, Drake and 21, that was a good one. They had a dope-ass, like, album rollout, like, all the, like,
how
visuals they did. Yeah, so that was good. Like, I feel like people need to bring that stuff back,
no
because I was excited. I was so excited. It came out, I was like, okay, this is dope.
I feel like people are dropping things and you're not hearing about it. I was just talking about this with my producer, like, Saweetie, that just dropped and sold 2K. Like, I didn't even know she dropped until I seen everybody trolling her on Twitter. Like, there was no rollout. Yeah, okay, cool, you did 1 or 2 interviews to announce your album, but, like,
I had no idea.
Where's the promo videos? Where's, you know what I'm saying? There was none of that. And I think Drake and 21 Savage did a really good job of that. Just trolling. They really just trolled. They made a mock interview. They had made a mock Vogue cover, you know what I'm saying?
Like, so everybody's looking at it like, is this real?
It's
or
creative,
what?
Yeah. It's creative. It caught people's attention. And I feel like that creativity is nowhere to be found anymore. It's rare.
Yeah. That kind of goes back to, like, the power of, like, good visuals, too.
Yeah.
Like,
the rollout now is, okay, get a TikTok that's busting, and then boom, that's your rollout. And that's what every label, everybody is chasing right now, just getting that TikTok. And unfortunately, like, that's what it is, but, like, there's other ways to do this, and I feel like no one's taking advantage of the other sources of media to really do a rollout. Like,
yeah, I completely agree with that. What's your biggest pet peeve in the industry?
Probably, I don't want to sound awful for saying this, probably people who, like, the type of artists, and maybe this isn't talking about people that are up, but people who are trying to get up, like the artists that feel very entitled when you have only been doing this for a year or two. Like, that whole entitlement of, like, like basically like, oh, like you should give me a feature. You should like you. I've been doing music since I was 7 years old. I've act like yo. Like we didn't even get into that for real. Like I've taught myself guitar. I've taught myself piano. I was in band for 9 years. I played clarinet. I took vocal lessons. I taught myself how to make beats. Like I really sat and spent hours out of my day as a kid instead of being on my phone fucking around. Really becoming an artist. Like I've worked for this shit my entire life. You've been rapping for 6 months.
Yeah.
Cool. You got 10K followers. Okay.
And
what? Like this whole source of entitlement was like, yeah, like. Because you got a little butt. I don't know. Like, it's just that's my number one pet peeve right now. It's just that super entitlement. Because I don't feel like I'm entitled. I feel like I'm too humble for my own good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people get mad at me. Like, oh, why don't you, like, promote yourself? Why don't you talk about it? Because, like, I don't know. I just never been that way. Like, unless I'm in a space like this, like, I don't even tell people I do music like that unless they find out or they recognize me or.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but that whole...
Could see it either way, honestly.
That whole source of entitlement, like, I gotta go. Like, y'all need to humble yourselves. Like, really work on yourself. I appreciate artists, even if you're not good, I appreciate artists who really work on their craft. Like, you can see it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You can always see it.
You can always tell, like, okay, you're developing, or, like, maybe the first song that you dropped wasn't good, but the next song was a million times better. I respect an artist like that. But, like...
Because it's real growth and, like... I don't know, and then people are way too focused on, like, social media logistics. Like you said, like, you got this many followers, you made this much money off of this thing. That does not...
mean you're an artist.
Exactly. Like, that does not make you actually, like, good at your craft. That does not mean you're actually putting the work in. You just found a way to get some type of clout, basically.
You might be, like, a rapper. You might be a singer. You might be an entertainer. But that doesn't make you an artist.
Yeah, no.
Like, that takes time. That takes, you know... creativity. That takes like back to the whole rollout thing. Like there's a lot of kids out here that is just going to the studio 1 week and the next week they're dropping the song, and it's like that's not how you should do this, dog. Like stack up your music, filter out what's good, what's not. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go to a label right now and all you're doing is recording and dropping, and the label's like, okay, pull out your 10 best songs, you already dropped your 10 best songs. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you can't.
That's a good point.
Yeah, you can't come to me or come to anybody in general with that source of entitlement when you're not even doing things the right way. You're not listening to guidance. You're not. That's one thing about me too is like, yo, I've gotten into it with my producer all the time. Like, he'll straight up tell me that ain't it. That's trash. But as mad as it made me, and as much as it hurt, it made me into like the artist I am now.
Yeah.
Like, you got to take that criticism. You got to listen to when someone tells you this ain't it. Like, try something else. Do this. Work on your vocals. Like. You know what I'm saying? Work on your production.
Yeah.
That's probably like my biggest pet peeve is people who are half-assing something that I take so seriously. If you half-assing something that I take so seriously and you come to me with entitlement, or I see you going to anybody with entitlement, work on yourself, humble yourself. Like that's probably my biggest pet peeve.
Y'all better stop.
Yeah.
So like management, you talk about your producer a lot. How important do you think good management is, or having people kind of like helping you out with that stuff? How important do you think that is in your development?
Management's always sticky because you got to really trust somebody to like be around them. And I've had multiple people approach me trying to manage me, and it's like, unless I really have a genuine, serious relationship with you, I can't trust you with my life. Like, this is my life. Like, don't play with my life. You know what I'm saying? You know, my producer, me and him, like, I'm like best friends since we met. So it's like with him, I could tell him anything. He could tell me anything. If I think something ain't it, I'll tell me something ain't it. Like, we'll come at each other, like, and be fine 5 minutes later. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's how you got to have that dynamic. You can't be in your feelings about things. You can't get butthurt about things. I have another manager, too. Shout out to Speedy. He's actually Tory Lanez's uncle. So, like, that's, like, somebody who's been helping me on more, like, the industry side of things, where my producer's more helping me with, like, my artist development and handling, like, my day-to-day type stuff. Yeah. So, it's, like, both of them together, like, we got some things coming up soon. Like, that could really, first quarter's around the corner.
Good shit. Yeah, it is, for real. You have some stuff in the works? You want to talk about it or kind of save it?
I'm going to save it.
Okay.
But I have something. I got some.
Just know. She got shit in the works.
This shit is boiling right now.
Okay.
We didn't put the pasta in yet, but it's boiling. You know what I'm saying?
How do you deal with, like, all the stress and anxiety that comes? And, like, you probably have more than, like, the normal person doing the shit because you're literally running everything. So how do you deal with that?
Mental health, man. Mental health.
I know.
Shout out to sad kids. It's not really a topic I touch on, and I know it's a topic I should touch on more, considering that it is my entire brand and in the music that I make, like the snippet that I just released, or even the song Teach Me. Like, I've talked about it in my music, but I've never straight up been on social media and I don't really talk about dealing with it. It's not easy. It's probably the hardest thing. I'm really good at masking it. I'm really good at hiding it from people, and that's probably not a good thing.
But it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah, but it's
Good
also
or bad.
unhealthy because I bottle things up, and then when it's time to explode, I explode, you know?
I feel that.
But, you know, I just do everything in quiet. Coping with anxiety is hard.
Yeah,
Hard.
it really is.
And beyond that, just depression in general. Like, it's something I've struggled with my entire life.
Yeah.
And it's something I've kept so secret under wraps. Like, people don't know how severe it is. You only hear about it in the music. It's the only time I really talk about it.
Yeah.
But as far as managing it is honestly just surrounding yourself with good people. That's the only way. The only way. If I didn't have my friends, like, if I wasn't surrounded by, like, good people, I don't know what I would be doing right now.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely probably would not be here, like, deadass. Like,
Yeah.
that's sad. But it's reality, you know what I'm saying? And I
No,
feel
it
like
really is.
a lot of artists deal with that. Look at Juice WRLD, look at X, look at all, like, you know, the people that passed away. Look at all the people that, like, I've looked up to and who have helped me in the industry. Like, and that's why, like, it's really important, like, for my role in this is to be, like, the next one of them. Like, if I could just help somebody. And it's crazy, too, because when I dropped the snippet, there was a girl that hit me up, and she was literally on a hospital bed talking about, like, yo, I tried to, like, take my life last night, and I found your song, and, you know what I'm saying? Like, posted a picture in the hospital bed and everything. So, like, it's just moments like that where it's like, okay, at least I could, my time here, if I could do that for a couple people, I'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about the money. I don't care about the clout. Like, I just want to do for people what music did for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's what's going to make you stand out as an artist, because that's real.
That's what keeps you going at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was going to say, but you kind of told me, I was going to say, like, what would be one thing you kind of want your audience to take away from your art?
There's a meaning and there's a reason. You might not know it yet, but you're going to find out.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing, because I've had some terrible situations happen. I've had some really fucked up situations happen. But a year later, 6 months later, or even a month later, you find out, okay, there was a reason why this happened. Like, I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in right now if I didn't go through what I went through.
That's the one thing,
saying?
yeah.
So, yeah, that's really the biggest thing to take away. And another thing, too, like, as far as, like, message behind my music is, like, accepting and understanding that everybody got that side to them. Not everybody a good person, and just having that empathy with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, cancel culture and everything, like, all the bullying that be going on online. Like, yo, you are in no place to be throwing stones in a glass house, my friend. Like, you are flawed as the rest of us. Like, and that's, like, the big thing, too, is, like, I don't know, really just showing people, like, yo, we all people, like, shut up. Like, yeah, people fuck up, people do bad things, or we all do bad things. Like, as realizing and understanding, like, we could be a terrible person, but it growing from there, where you go from there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's, like, a big message that I want to push out.
Yeah, I like that message a lot. Do you find it easier to kind of, you're kind of talking about how it's harder for you to kind of, like, share how you feel about things. Do you find it easier to relay it in your music, or is that still in itself a little bit difficult?
Nah, because that was the coping mechanism I used since I was a kid. Like, that's really, like, a big portion of why I do most of the things I do was because of that. It's the only way I dealt with it. Writing, that was where I went. You know what I'm saying? I had no one else to go to. I went to my notebook. Like, I had a little saying growing up. It's me and my notebooks. That's it. Like, so it's not hard making it. It's more hard putting it out. I do, like, when I dropped Teach Me, I had mad anxiety about dropping that song because no one really knew. No one knew. And the lyrics are evident if you really listen to pages of that song. Like, you listen to the song, you know what I'm talking about. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
I've been to that, like, that low of low. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's not hard making it, but it's just the anxiety behind putting it out and, like, having people. But as long as I know I'm helping people, then it's, like, that selflessness that comes with an artist. That's another big thing, too, about being an artist. I feel like, back to the entitlement thing, yo, you are an artist. You're here to serve for people.
Yes.
Like, like, as much as the status and ego that come with being an artist, what are you giving back? Like, you are serving people something. Yeah. Whether if you choose to serve negativity or something that's positive and that's going to help people, like, that's another big part of being an artist that I feel like a lot of people forget about. Like, this ain't just about you. This ain't about you. Like, yeah, cool, it's your show, it's your world, but it ain't only about you. Like, there's people that you're giving your message to. So, like, that's another big thing that I feel like a lot of people forget about.
Definitely. A lot of people do forget about that, and that, like I said before, that's what's really going to separate you from other people, because you can tell that you care about it and you care about other people, and, like, you want people to understand your message. Like, it's not just about you.
It's not about me. It's absolutely not about me. It's about that girl that hit me up in the hospital bed talking about, you might have saved my life last night. Like, that's what it's about. Yeah. It's got nothing to do with me.
And that's not something you're ever going to forget. Like, that, if anything, will help you carry on.
Absolutely.
For shit. Yeah. That's pretty inspiring, honestly.
Yeah, like, what do I look like giving up when I have people like that hitting me up. And that's not the only person that's done it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like one of the
showing
main things
you
in mind.
one of your many purposes.
Yeah.
You have any advice for females in the industry or just in general that you like, one piece of advice that you would give females trying to do what they would like to do?
Be assertive. It's one thing I sucked at until recently.
Yeah.
Be assertive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they say? That when I was in college, this business professor, we had a little seminar, and he was speaking to us. It's something I'll never forget. And he was asking us questions, and he stopped everybody. He was like, why is it that only the men in the room are raising hands? But unfortunately, with the society and everything, like, we're raised to be submissive and not speak up. But when you're trying to get into a position of power and you're submissive, people are going to walk all over you.
Yeah.
That's why
100%.
women get taken advantage of.
Yep.
And it's like, once you learn to be assertive, once you learn, and honestly really finding your self-worth, because when you are insecure and lack confidence, everything else around you is going to feed you. You got to be able to feed yourself.
Yeah.
So if you can't do that, then people are going to walk all over you. They're going to take advantage of you. Like, you're just going to be a shell at the end of the day with nothing inside. Like, you really just got to find who you are as a person, and that's something that no one can really teach you, that you got to figure out on your own. Once you learn that and you really learn the ins and outs of yourself, really take the time to understand yourself before you get in a leadership position. Because if you can't take the time to understand your ups and downs and how to manage yourself and, like, know who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what you accept, what you won't accept, like, there's no way you're going to be able to walk into any type of leadership role and expect not to get, walked all over on. So, like, that's a big piece that I feel like, learn who you are. Learn who you are. And as cliche as it sounds, it's a lot deeper than you think. Like, don't let that go over your head.
I know it.
Yeah.
For sure. Self-awareness, boundaries, all that.
All of that. Like,
really hard for a lot of people, including myself, but I can see, like, how crucial it is to really
speak up.
Yeah, exactly. You have anything else you would like to share, talk about before we end?
Teen Dirtbag Freestyle is dropping.
When's it dropping?
When is this gonna come out?
Monday.
Monday?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Next Monday.
Perfect.
So the
December 9th. We're dropping
day after my
December
birthday.
9th. Oh, really? Happy birthday. Happy
thank
early
you.
birthday. December 9th, the clothing collection's out now. This one is not out because I have an exclusive red one. But there's a black and a white one. You got the 2 X's and the sad kids on the back. You can see it. This has in the collection.
Oh, yeah? You want to tag your Instagram, sad kids, all that? Say the @
Okay.
So
all right. So my personal is at ZEHAILAH. It's at Zehailah. Sad Kids the brand is at sadkids.thebrand. And then we also have Cillian's Official, SILIENCE. It's all collaborative. Everybody's in it together. We do vlogs. They're really funny. I edit them, you know what I'm saying? We do vlogs. We drop merch. We're trying to get a podcast started, but that's a work in progress, too.
If you need any tips, so we're here.
Of course.
We got you.
I'll keep in contact with you guys.
Hell yeah.
I like how you guys have everything set up. Like, it's official.
Yeah.
I fuck with it. You're doing what I'm trying to do right now. Like, you got your team,
but
you know what I'm saying?
You're doing
We're getting there.
lot.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, Teen Dirtbag dropping December 9th. Go check out the collection.
Be prepared. Be ready. Well, thank you so much for coming. This was great. You're very well spoken.
Thank
you were
you.
talking about like you don't like you have.
This is a performance right now. That's why. But if I was to be in a room with a bunch of people, I couldn't have this conversation. I feel like.
Okay, that's fair. But yeah, you're very well spoken. I can
you.
see like where the writing comes into play.
Yeah.
But thank you again so much. We'll definitely keep in touch. This was great. Everybody make sure to check her out.
Welcome to the party. I got successful and it didn't take it well. Didn't want support, so no I'm bringing niggas help. So no loyalty, so I'm loyal to myself. They gon' see you struggle, they gon' turn around.